Imagine driving alone on a dark, deserted road with nothing but the hum of your car for company. Suddenly, the unexpected happens, a chilling encounter that leaves you trembling. This is what we're diving into today on Scarier Things. We're bringing you 3 bone-chilling, true night drive horror stories that will make you think twice before hitting the road alone at night. So buckle up, turn off the lights, and let's journey into the unknown. Remember, these stories are not for the faint-hearted. You've been warned. First story. Embarking on a journey from Brooklyn to Vermont, destined for a weekend of snowboarding at my friend John's cabin. The stage was set with 2 vehicles at my disposal, a 2013 BMW 3 Series and a 2006 Ford F-150, the latter being my chosen companion for the night. Laden with snowboarding gear in the truck bed, the clock approached 10 p.m., thrusting me into the desolate, snow-covered roads of the night. The isolation was profound, with no companionship on the road, the only witness to my venture being the silent, falling snow. In the midst of this nocturnal odyssey, the capricious fate of my 2006 Ford F-150 unfolded. A history of mechanical troubles with the truck had haunted me, and this night proved to be no exception. At the most inopportune moment, in the profound darkness of the quietest, most obscure road, the engine rebelled. The ominous red zone of the overheating gauges signaled trouble, forcing me to relinquish speed and pull over to the side. An agonizing wait ensued as I hoped for the engine to cool down, only to be met with disappointment as the needle stubbornly returned to the red zone upon resuming the journey. Stranded in the frigid darkness, attempts to diagnose the mechanical malady proved futile in the absence of light and warmth. A desperate call to my friend John beckoned, yet the remote road offered no mercy, rendering my T-Mobile reception non-existent. The feeling of helplessness loomed large, leaving me with no choice but to bide my time within the confines of the truck, seeking solace in its idling warmth. The snow-covered surroundings painted a canvas of pure blackness, offering no respite from the isolation. Engrossed in the darkness, the only distraction lay in the fleeting glow of my phone screen as I played games to stave off the monotony. Abruptly, a presence manifested itself at the passenger side window, a startling disruption to the solitude. A man, obscured by the inky darkness and the inadequate illumination of headlights, pleaded for help, claiming to be lost and stranded in the biting cold. A surge of unease enveloped me, prompting a cautious evaluation of the situation. Fumbling to ascertain his intentions, the stranger escalated his efforts, attempting to forcefully open the locked door, accompanied by desperate cries for assistance. Trusting my instincts, I accelerated away, leaving the mysterious figure pounding on the glass in the rearview mirror. As I pressed on, defying the damage to the already ailing engine, an unexpected revelation unfolded. The reflection of taillights on the road's edge disclosed the presence of a familiar Toyota, the same vehicle driven by the enigmatic stranger. Slowing down, I scrutinized the empty car, realizing that the man had deceived me, leaving behind footprints in the snow as evidence of his ruse. Relieved by the approaching tow truck, I signaled for assistance, recounting the eerie encounter to the driver. In a moment of levity, he acknowledged the fortuitous timing and inquired about the stranger's potential weaponry. The swift attachment of the truck ensued, and as we prepared to depart, the Toyota, a lingering specter, never passed us again. The subsequent events unfolded with a visit to the body shop, the replacement of a malfunctioning water pump, and the eventual parting with the troublesome truck. Reflecting on the night's harrowing episode, I am grateful for the decision to preserve my safety, resisting the impulse to lower the window or unlock the doors. In that desolate setting, it dawned on me, I narrowly escaped a potential tragedy, an anonymous encounter on a dark and snow-covered road. Second story. At the tender age of 17, I found myself navigating the complexities of teenage romance while cohabiting with my mother, the aftermath of my parents' divorce looming large since the tender age of 11. A pivotal Friday evening presented itself as an opportunity for a date, the burdens of homework conveniently lightened. Summoning the courage within, I extended an invitation to my first girlfriend, both of us juggling the demands of high school seniority and part-time employment. My stint at a local grocery store, hers at the ever-popular Starbucks. Post the evening grind, I embarked on the mission to pick her up, the night promising the potential for a memorable rendezvous. We opted for a modest restaurant nearby, acutely mindful of financial constraints. Following a swift and budget-conscious meal, we returned to her abode to savor each other's company. Nightfall draped the surroundings in darkness, and an expression of discontent escaped her lips at the perceived brevity of our date. Aware of the fiscal limitations, we settled on the idea of a night drive, steering through the familiar town before venturing onto a deserted road nestled within the woods. The asphalt under our tires gradually surrendered to a rustic dirt path. Amidst the serenity of our nocturnal journey, the call of nature struck, demanding an urgent pit stop for both of us. As we alighted from the car, an inexplicable and nauseating odor hung thick in the air. Attempting to downplay it as a byproduct of someone else's pit stop, my girlfriend recoiled in disgust. Finding a suitable spot in a flat area, we attended to our needs. However, on our way back, an unexpected sound emanated from our left, a twig snapping, possibly signaling the presence of an animal. Hastening back to the car, our retreat was punctuated by a scream, a disturbing fusion of fear and pain, echoing from the direction we had just vacated. Resolute, despite my girlfriend's urgent pleas, I decided to investigate, securing the safety of our haven by locking the car doors. As I ventured towards the origin of the screams, the proximity of the unnerving sound gradually heightened my apprehension. A shift in my courage compelled me to use my phone's flash to capture an image. The sudden illumination revealed a man, donned in a white shirt with black stripes, standing before a blue tarp, frozen in time. Fear surging through my veins, I sprinted back to the car, unlocked the doors, and sped away from the eerie scene. Arriving at the shadowy side of town, my girlfriend sensed the palpable fear that gripped me. Yielding to her persistent inquiries, I recounted the spine-chilling encounter, unveiling the unsettling image captured. Acknowledging the unnerving circumstances, she insisted I spend the night, and we clung to the solace offered by the impending weekend. While our romantic ties evolved into a platonic friendship, the memory of that haunting night continued to bind us. Now, at 23 and 22, our lives have progressed, but the indelible mark of that harrowing experience remains embedded in our shared history. Third story. In the late summer of 2011, I was nearly 19, spending the evening with my younger best friend in the rural expanse of southwestern Virginia, just a stone's throw from Mount Airy, North Carolina. In our neck of the woods, everything shuts down by 10 p.m., so we had to concoct our own late-night adventures. The night kicked off innocently enough, with a trip to the mall, cruising the streets in search of excitement, and eventually settling for a game of bowling until closing time. Restless and unwilling to call it a night, we found ourselves strolling down Main Street just before midnight, swaggering through back alleys like the edgy badasses we believed ourselves to be. Unfazed by the lack of danger in our peaceful area, we eventually wound up at Waffle House for a late-night bite, followed by a quick detour to Walmart. Still not ready to call it a night, we embarked on a journey down the winding backcountry roads, a familiar pastime for us in these parts. The particular stretch of road we found ourselves on was usually ignored by the county, turning to dirt once it crossed into Virginia. With few houses and a tendency to wash out in heavy rains, we navigated cautiously, taking in the eerie beauty of the wooded landscape. As we drove, we encountered an unsettling sight, a mysterious man standing under a porch light, watching us with an intensity that sent shivers down our spines. Brushing off the discomfort, we continued, unaware that this was just the beginning of a bizarre night. Our unease grew as we discussed the strange encounter, and our slow drive became even more deliberate. Suddenly, the road transformed back into familiar territory, and we breathed a sigh of relief, eager to leave the odd encounter behind. The road offered picturesque views of the town below as we made our way toward my house, taking in the serene sights along the small mountain ridge. However, the night took an unexpected turn as we spotted something in the distance, something wider than a deer and unsettlingly human. Slowing down, we realized it was an elderly woman, hunched over and walking against traffic. Her appearance, with scraggly gray hair, a blood-stained shirt, and a knife in hand, sent chills down our spines. In an instant, our desire to be edgy badasses vanished, replaced by sheer terror. She began frantically waving her blood-stained hands as she charged toward us. Panic set in, and we floored it, only feeling safe once we reached the highway. What should have been a quick 5-minute drive turned into a 35-minute detour, fueled by the fear that she might somehow follow us home. In the close-knit community, we were not sure we'd recognize everyone, but of us had ever seen this mysterious woman before, nor did we ever again. We scoured local news for any mention of a bloody woman with a knife but found nothing. Years later, living with my wife near those same roads, I often wonder about that strange night. A recent bust of a drug and cockfighting ring near the house of the man we observed has fueled my speculation. Was he keeping guard on the place? And as for the bloodied woman, I can only hope to never cross paths with her again.